Those who stay honest professionals and refuse to toe the corruption line, they are pushed out. They're defamed and rendered lepers. Yet those who compromise their professionalism and do the bidding of capturers are protected and are able to move around public entities freely. They are supported by the lawyers and accountants of the captured entity. Those of us who refuse are cruelly pushed out and defamed and harassed in the name of consequence management. We pay for the lawyers out of our own pockets. I'm tired of this and I need to clear my name. And come hell or high water, I will clear my name.
My health has taken a turn to, proportions which I could not even fathom. My doctors have even, warned me to say, stress kills, something that I know. I mean, I've gone for medicals after medicals because I didn't know what was wrong with me until I was told that it is because you are so stressed. I've had psychological bills that I've had to pay. I've had to balance the issues of seeing psychologists between me and my daughter, because financially I then couldn't afford it and my daughter needed the assistance. I mean, my credit rating has gone out the roof because now my finances are a mess. I can't pay the lawyers. I owe lawyers hundreds of thousands of rands. I mean, really, on things that I did not do.
The words there of the suspended Prasa whistleblower Martha Ngoye. We spoke to her in September last year, you may remember. Well, 2 days ago, she was found not guilty in an arbitration case brought against her by her employer when she was where she is head of legal risk and compliance. And she joins us now on the line. Martha, as always, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning, Bongani, and it's a pleasure.
When last we spoke, you were scheduled for a disciplinary hearing on that very day, in fact. That was, of course, withdrawn by the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa because you and they agreed to go to arbitration instead. So they withdrew the disciplinary process. You withdrew your action at the Labour Court. And here we are. The arbitration process has found in your favor. What does this mean for you?
Well, Bongani, I have mixed feelings about this. One is that of being very happy and because I feel I'm vindicated right now and I'm at peace with everything. Two, however, for me, it's a sense of sadness, that in a place as broken as Prasa, one of the highlights of the tenure of this board would have been this war that they've waged against me. When there are people who are living very comfortable lives from their spoils of their theft from Prasa, not much has been done to fix the Prasa operations. We're nowhere near pre-COVID levels. So, you understand my mixed feelings about this victory. There is still a lot that needs to happen. But as I say, I'm vindicated and I feel very happy about it. And I'm just waiting to see.
Yet you went to the office yesterday, you went to work and you couldn't get past reception.
No, I couldn't. I went to work yesterday. I'm rightfully so. Bongani, I'm not suspended anymore. The arbitration has cleared me. I'm not suspended. The award is in my favor. All the charges that were leveled against me, in fact, the 6 charges that were leveled against me, Prasa only laid evidence on two of the 6. They withdrew 2 charges against me as we entered the arbitration room. And they didn't give an explanation of why they were withdrawing those charges. They were left with 4. They only laid evidence on 2. I managed, in all respects to show that the evidence they have against me is not credible. I want it fair and square. It was their process. It was not my process. I agreed to it. And Bongani, let me say this thing as important. The reason why I agreed to this particular arbitration process is I knew we would get an independent arbitrator. That has been one of my biggest bugbears because I feared that there would be hired guns that would make my life miserable and do everything to favor Prasa. But I'm very happy that we agreed to choose this particular route. Yeah.
So Martha,
I went to work yesterday.
What happened? What happened when you got there?
Yeah. I went to work, I signed in, and I said, I'm here to report for duty. May I please see somebody from the office of the group CEO, because that's where I need to report. They sent a PA down to come and meet me at reception. And the PA basically said to me, I'm advised to tell you that you cannot come to work. The board is still reviewing the arbitration award. And I was with my lawyer at the time, and we were told that the Prasa lawyer had sent a letter in the evening to my lawyer to say I shouldn't come to work, which obviously we hadn't seen at the time that we went to Prasa. So I didn't even pass reception. I was there and I was told, no, you can't come in.
I mean, when last we spoke, we referred, of course, to that SA Fence and Gate contract in which you were charged with financial misconduct, alternatively gross misconduct and or dereliction of duty. In this arbitration matter, you were cleared, but the 45 million rand, which you told us, of course, you were instrumental in trying to win back for Prasa, is still being demanded from you. That summons has not been withdrawn.
No, it has not been withdrawn, Bongani. We are going to be attending pre-trial proceedings in that suit against me for the 45 million, which I helped win, obviously, against the Fence and Gate. Their own processes cleared me of this. It's not my process. The disciplinary process was not mine. It's Prasa's process. It's cleared me and said I'm not guilty. But there is still this pending 45 million rands that still, waging against me.
I mean, the other example, of course, there's the Umjanji deal, and the arbitration process found that what you were accused of signing had in fact been signed by a predecessor of yours and not by you.
Yes, I mean, and this is the thing. This is not even the Umjanji was the advertiser. Yes, you're right. Bongani, in that case, I was charged for things that I didn't sign. I didn't sign them. And the evidence they gave me showed that I didn't sign. But the charge remained. Their own evidence said this was signed by somebody else. But they gave me that, and they still continued to pursue the charge against me.
And then, of course, they said you were part of bid evaluation committee meetings, which you had not attended.
Yeah, and that was the big one, Bongani. That was the one, remember, at the State Capture Commission where... the judge president, the Chief Justice indicated that, based on the evidence, the late evidence that was brought by Prasa, he believed that further investigations needed to be done. That has always been, a story which I told, because I was never there. And I knew I was never there. And they came in and they lied again. Their witnesses lied and they couldn't show and prove their own evidence. The evidence was contradictory. And it was very clear that I was not at that meeting, and fortunately the arbitrator found that they didn't show evidence that I was in that meeting. I know my story, Bongani. I've been there.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I mentioned those three because I needed it to be clear to the listeners some of the issues you were facing. But let me take you back to 2015. In her report, Derailed, then Public Protector Thuli Madonsela found that the then CEO of Prasa, Lucky Montana, was ruthless in his abuse of power. Executives could be suspended at will. It obviously cost the company millions in litigation. I wonder if, from your perspective, if anything has changed.
No, it hasn't. I mean, this was exactly the finding also of the Chief Justice in the Zondo report. He said it specifically that he has found that the current board has gone back to the harking back process of Lucky Montana, where, professionals would, and this whole issue of charging people unrelentlessly and without process and so on was still going on. I mean, I'm reliving Lucky's years in this current period.
Part of what you told us when we spoke to you in September was, of course, the huge legal bills you had racked up. Now, the arbitrator in this matter, Imtiaz Sikot, did not award you a costs order. That means you still owe the lawyers millions.
I do, yes, and that's the unfortunate part with processes of this nature. You know, there's a lot of technical legalities that are, you know, involved in these things. We did ask for a cost order. We asked for a cost order also, Bongani, because I had to prepare for 6 charges against me. You know, my first lawyers who didn't sustain, you know, this particular journey with me, who basically withdrew as lawyers, I'm still owing those lawyers that I still have to pay. You know, I'm owing them thousands of rands that I have to pay. I've had to then get new lawyers. But having stated that and given that evidence, and also showing the arbitrator that with the number of charges that were leveled against me, and Prasa coming in and withdrawing the charges, I've had to prepare for those charges. And still, you know, the law is what it is, I suppose. It's so unjust. And I'm saddled still with those bills, which I have to pay still out of my own pocket.
Martha, you know, you would think, there's a board here, right? There's a shareholder, right? State-owned entities are owned by the state. There's a shareholder who has promised us a new dawn, that now things are different. But what we are seeing over and over and over again, that it's the same script, perhaps, but different casts. So some whistleblowers say, looking back, they wouldn't do it all over again. What do you think?
I don't think it's you know, it's worth one's while, Bongani. It's been traumatic. I decided that this year I'm not reliving. You know, when Matapelo's story broke, I just couldn't, you know, even complete reading her story, because it was just, you know, reminding me of what I had gone through. So I just can't do this again. You know, I just can't go through the trauma that I went through, and I can't put my family through this again. For what benefit? For the state that I say I was working for and helping, and where they've got no interest whatsoever in what I've done. Why would I do it again? Why would I do it again?
Talking of your family, when last we spoke, you told us about the toll on you and your daughter. She was in matric last year, was she? How did it go, and how is she now?
No, she started her first year of varsity last year. She's doing engineering. She's very strong, you know, and I feel I'm very blessed to have a child as strong as that. But she's really suffered, you know, as well in the process. So, you know, it has not been easy on both of us. She still worries about me to date. But it is what it is. I mean, we've pulled through, and I feel very relieved. But I know that the war is not over, Mongane. I'm just most grateful for the battles that I have won, you know. But this war is not over. It is a very taxing fight that I've had to, you know, endure. But it is what it is. And as I said, I will prove my innocence, Bongani. I said it to you. I said, I'm come hell or high water. Yeah. And I was quoted in my disciplinary hearing to say, and she goes to the media and she says she will prove her what. It was torture. Let me tell you, it was torture, because they belittle you in there as if you are the thief. There are thieves there within Prasa, and that are known, but nothing is done to them.
Oh, Martha, you mentioned Matapelo More. We spoke to her on Monday. The president, of course, made reference to her story because it was on the front page of the Sunday Times. I wonder if he's listening to your story. I wonder if he'll do anything about it. Good luck to you. We'll keep an eye on the developments of your cases, and no doubt you and I will chat sometime again in the near future. Martha Ngoye, no longer really legally, rather, she's no longer the suspended head of legal risk and compliance at the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, but she's also not at her desk.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.